how's everybody doing? Anybody got anything exciting to share?
Yeah, man, I need a haircut really badly, so now I'm wearing hats for every call.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there in a couple of weeks because all the gray's gonna start coming through. Yeah, it's not gonna be a good look.
I was thinking the same thing. I need a haircut, but I can't go out right now and get a haircut. So everybody's just gonna get furry and
Yeah, we're all on the same playing field, aren't we, as a society? It's exciting.
yeah.
It's amazing. And you know, you talk to people all over the world, and this has, you know, just leveled the playing field for everybody. I met with a gal today in Kenya, and they're going through the same thing as the gal in Venezuela, and it just doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter your politics. It doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter anything. It is a human experience that we're all going through.
Yeah, really is.
Yeah, we're all sort of on a collective pause.
Yep.
Hey, for those that jump on the white label calls, the agency services calls, usually on Wednesdays and Fridays and Mondays, I'm going to be doing the Wednesdays with Chase, so we can just have a collective ecosystem of a Q&A. It just makes life easier for everybody. You guys are not confused between which lives are which, so I'm going to sit back and relax while Chase takes it over.
Yeah, so that's a good intro. So we're trying to beef up our online sort of webinar group calls, and what we're doing now is we're going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Paulson's going to run the white label services, more like sales training type of calls on Monday, every Monday. Every Wednesday we have this call, the Q&A, and then we're going to start doing every Friday at this same time a call that's going to vary. So this week is actually going to be a live spotlight session, which should be pretty cool. And then I think in future weeks we're going to do a lot of live build outs. So I'm going to hop on and I'm going to say, hey, who wants me to build something? All right, what are we building today? A dentist landing page for free teeth whitening? Great, let's do it. I'll build it. At the end, I'll make it a snapshot and give it to anybody who wants it. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. And you can basically bank on us for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something going on around this time slot. So yeah, hopefully we get people jumping in repeatedly and we can get a nice little break to our days. We got our first question. Josh, what's happening? Jumping on this call to try and get an idea of timeline for new releases, what's coming out next, specifically looking at KPIs and what is in the pipeline for that. So let me see if I can get Sean on here to give us some roadmap stuff. Okay. And I'll send the same message to Robin. So hopefully we can get one of those two who can talk about roadmap and timing. I think we do have Renato from the dev team on the call, so he might have some insight as far as what's coming out next. But basically from what I know, the next big rollouts are going to be membership sites, which should roll out, I think, in May. And I know a lot of people are really excited about those. And then I think in the shorter term, hopefully next week, but if not the week after, the new bulk actions for smart lists, which I think is going to be a game changer for a lot of people as well. So being able to make a smart list and then say, okay, I want to shoot a text to everybody in that list, or shoot an email, or add them all straight into a campaign. That's coming out in the very near future.
Hey, Chase, what is a smart list for those that may not know?
Smart lists are awesome. So smart lists are, you go into contacts and then you have all these new filters on the right. So you can stack filters. So you can say, hey, I want to see everybody who has this tag, who hasn't done anything within the platform in the past 2 weeks. And it filters that list of people. And now you can save that list, give it a name, and it will live at the top of your smart list thing, so that you can repeatedly go back to these lists, and they're dynamic, right? So if someone's in that list and then that tag gets removed, the next time I go into the list, they're not going to be there anymore. So it's a really, really powerful way to manage your contacts And the next step is we're going to give you the ability to not only sort them into a list, but then do all sorts of new actions straight off the list.
Nice.
So could
we
it-
got another. Go ahead.
Could a
Josh.
new action be adding a tag, and then we could have a trigger that says if that tag is added, run a specific campaign?
So that you can do right now. The add a tag feature is already there. So you can do exactly what you just said. The new ones are going to be add the list to a campaign, send an email, a one-off email to the list, or send an SMS straight off the list.
Does the add tag, is that automatic?
No, so those are manual options that you have at the top. So you make
Yeah.
your list and you're like, okay, now I want to add this tag to this whole list, go.
Cool.
But I think what you're getting at, which would be interesting, is if we could build a trigger that says, hey, if somebody's added to this smart list, do something.
Yeah, because right now that's how I do it, kind of, but it's very difficult in the triggers. It says, hey, if this contact is added, but you can only have one tag. And so from then on, it's just custom field filters.
Mhm.
So it makes sense if in the smart list, if you could automatically add a
Yeah, I see where you're
specific
going.
tag.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's basically like if anybody enters the smart list,
They automatically
something.
marketing is started. Yeah.
Josh,
that's
are you-
interesting.
Josh, are you thinking about for your platform? I'm just wondering because I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
If you have a tag for like daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or whatever, yeah, and then you can run it on a campaign or whichever. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Cool.
Nice. I got a question from Matt Queen. What is the best way to see what your email deliverability is? Any difference between Gmail, SMTP, and Mailgun, Chase?
Good question. And I don't know, I wouldn't call myself an expert in email deliverability, but here's what I would say. We're building those stats in, and I know that's something that's coming with as we continue to roll out the new reporting. And I think it will apply to whether you're using Mailgun or Gmail, G Suite, it will have that data. Right now, if you need that data, I would be using Mailgun because at least in Mailgun you can see some of that information. It gives you more detail. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I've used G Suite forever, but I don't know if you can go see deliverability stuff within your G Suite dashboard. Maybe somebody on here has the answer to that, but I think you'll be more limited as far as stats from G Suite until we roll out our new robust reporting that will pull from there. Which makes me think if we could pull from there that you might be able to get to it through your Gmail dashboard, but I'm not sure.
Cool. There's another question here I have, regarding smart lists, if it's possible. Looking to see if anybody has built out a smart list for real estate investors, and that was from Liana. Please touch base with her if any of you have. Swen's asking, is there still a plan to build that MiniChat clone in HighLevel?
I know that was in the works,
We need
but
to call. We need to just reach out. We need to text Michael Yang, huh?
I saw a demo of the very early product, but I think it got backburnered for some of the new releases that have recently come out and are about to come out. So Robin said he'll be on the call in about 10 minutes, so we can loop back to see if he has any information about that. But I think the ManyChat clone is frozen for now. That being said, if it were to rush to the top of the ideas board, it would then be reactivated. So always keep that in mind. Whatever's at the top of the ideas board is what gets put into motion next.
Yeah. I have people screaming for reporting for who's opening the emails. I know it's coming, but when? Needed as soon as possible.
Yeah, I hear you. This will be something that we'll loop back with Robin on to see if he has any updates as far as the timing of the reporting rollouts. It's a huge project, but I know it's actively being worked on, right? So it's not something that we haven't even started yet. It's in process, but it's not like where we're just focused on giving you email reporting stats. It's part of a whole bigger ecosystem to be able to track the whole thing all the way through so that you can confidently go to your clients and be like, that conversion right there came from here, and this is what happened to it along the way. And so it's a big project. It's going to be incredible when it rolls out. We're going to have to push Robin to see if we can get info on timing.
Mm-hmm. Annabelle's asking, how can I pause a campaign if I have someone in the campaign, but I want to have offline? But then if you don't reply, they go back into the campaign where they were. I don't want repeat emails.
If I have someone in a campaign, but I want to have...
Guys, this is when you use your microphone feature and speak up.
I want to have offline, but then if they don't reply, they go back. Yeah,
Annabelle, are you there?
That makes sense. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you flesh that out a little bit
Yeah,
more?
like, so for example, I have a campaign where I've reached out and it's completely cold calling, but then all of a sudden they've replied back, or I've seen that they've done some stuff, but they haven't actually fully committed and actually reached out. Say they opened a couple of my emails, they clicked on a few things, but nothing else, right? So I want to actually stop them in the campaign for a bit, and I want to actually reach out and personalize some emails and stuff like that. But if they don't do anything, then I want them to go back into that campaign. Like, I just literally want to just stop them. I just don't want to take them out and then have to find a way to put them back in and repeat some of those emails.
Can't you untag and retag on the campaigns?
I don't know. I don't know. That's what I was going to say. There's got to be a workaround or something. But do I like literally just will they go right back in the same position in that campaign? That's what I just don't want them to repeat. I don't want to.
I see what you're saying from
Yeah,
the
so
beginning of the sequence.
Yeah, you're not going to want to put them back into the same campaign because it will start from the beginning again.
Yeah,
What you would
that's
want to do is make sort of waterfall campaigns. So let's say campaign A has 5 things in it, clone it, remove the first one. Now it's got 4 things, clone it, remove the first one. Now it's got 3 things. And then you could build triggers that sort of take people out of 1, wait to see if something happens. If not, put them back into 2. You know what I mean? So I think there's a way to build this out. I would just need to know a little bit more. But I think that in general is what comes to mind first, is sort of like a waterfall setup.
It'll also based on your conversation that you're doing, you know, the reason why you pause them to have a conversation, what is that conversation like? Because you may be able to just create a generic secondary campaign to push all the follow-ups through.
Well, I guess my thing is I'm trying to figure out a way that to maximize my time. I want to have a generic, but then go into more specifics. But if they're not like touching on or moving in that specific, I'll just stick them back in the generic and wait till they are ready. You know what I mean? But I don't know when that's going to be in that sequence. Like, I have a big long sequence of just a bunch of emails that eventually maybe someone will touch. Kind of like
if you don't know the timing of that response to interaction, I recommend you just creating a separate campaign that you can push everybody through as a follow-up from your responses and those pauses. So you literally can have 2 tags, one for the first, another one for the second one.
Got it. You don't think they're ever going to do a pause? That's something that anyone else.
If you pause and reset them into a new tag, like Chase was saying, it'll start them over in the sequence.
Yeah.
But I want to hear a little bit more about what the goal would be. So if this new feature existed, what would it do? It would say, okay, if somebody clicked a link in my email, pause them for how long, let's say?
I actually almost think if I could even do a manual button and then have a trigger to remind me to put them back in, you know, to unpause it, because it's not that many right now anyway. But it's just easier to pause it than try to, like that waterfall campaign. It just seems like a lot to identify and triggers, and I could mess up a lot. There's a lot of steps that I think I would mess up on more than the system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just thinking if I could pull them out, talk to them for a little bit, and then they're like, you know, I'm not, or sometimes they say, I'm not yet ready, blah, 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 right? Just keep on sending me more information.
So
I guess
all that you could do right now, but I think what you're saying is the ability to inject somebody back into the middle of a campaign or wherever they left off.
Correct. That's what I really would like to do.
Right.
This has actually come up, like a number of my clients have asked for this. In like a perfect world where you have your campaigns and you click in it and you can see the progress, like it's on step 2 of 20.
Right.
It'd be perfect to have like right now there's a run button, a trash button. A perfect world would have a
Pause
pause button.
Yeah, I think that's something that we could help with on that front.
Oh, great.
Hey, Robin. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty cool idea. So, Robin, should I make a note? Will you make a note? How do we take this to the team and see if we can put this into motion?
I'm actually putting it in right now.
Sweet.
Good.
Look at
Sweet.
that.
Awesome. You're awesome. Thanks.
Sorry guys, I was kind of half listening. I'm on another phone call and on here and trying to help everybody all at the same time. Running through all my messages.
He just looked at a couple of screens and the screens just know what he's thinking and they just it out.
Yeah, I have 5 screens right now that I'm just trying to hit on multiple messages.
Awesome. Well, that's the magic of joining the QA call. There's always a chance that someone like Robin will be on and your wish can be put right into motion.
Yeah,
So
that's
I think
beautiful.
I think that's a cool feature, and I think it makes sense. And it sounds like Josh, you've got people that want it as well.
Yeah, Eric's asking, are there any resources or past videos about selling as a CRM? So service as a software, pretty much.
So when you say selling as a CRM, do you mean just the CRM functionality or selling HighLevel as sort of white labeled software?
I guess basically just the CRM. From what I understood, I thought people were also offering this as just a CRM to use, but it kind of seems like the learning curve would be pretty big for everything it can do. So, I mean, I was thinking maybe there was a basic setup or maybe a snapshot to just give it to any business to use as just basic CRM.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly could. I think you could basically make the snapshot that makes sense to you and then start using that and then just turn off the other features. So when you go into agency settings and go to a user, you can turn off different areas of the app and they disappear from the left-hand sidebar. So you could sort of dumb it down, I would say.
Right.
But I would also say that's probably a bit of a missed opportunity because anybody who wants a CRM, odds are they would also like other things to happen if they knew they were possible.
Bam,
so to
bam.
me, I would say I would be looking for upsell opportunities if start with the CRM and then
definitely
pipelines and
yeah. They're most likely they're not going to know what to do with it, even if they say yes after the first month and a half. It's going to be like, oh, that software didn't really work. Let's just go to another one. That's literally what's going to happen. You got to kind of handhold them, especially on HighLevel when it's very techie oriented, and really, help them navigate into their destination there.
Cool.
All right, let's see if we can get Robin's attention again. Robin, we had two requests about reporting timelines, specifically email stats, deliverability, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of from the reporting perspective, the main agenda items that we're working through is Facebook advertising, email stats, as well as we're working on form attribution stats. And what that looks like, that's going to be really cool. Of basically anywhere on the internet, you'll be able to track, kind of the attribution of where they come from and how far down the pipeline. There's products like HighRose and stuff that does some of that, but we're actually taking it a step further. And with HighLevel, you'll actually be able to see the attribution down to the actual sale, right? Because you can track all that already. So we're working on those components right now. You'll start seeing a lot of that roll out probably towards the end of April. The email stats specifically took a little bit longer because, as you guys know, last month we had to open up the SMTP option, and we have to now basically create more of a larger scale email reporting functionality so that it can integrate with not only Mailgun, but all the other SMTP options that you guys are using now.
Hey, Rob, on the email stuff, does that cover deliverability also, or is it just, okay, cool.
Yeah, so be open rates, deliverability, just the typical reporting stuff that you see out there.
Hey, we had a question that was raised when we were talking about this. Can you see that kind of stuff through G Suite if you're using G Suite emails? Do they give you
I
stats like that?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, me either. Cool. Robin, the other question that came up about timing is, do we have an idea of when A/B testing for funnels will roll out?
Yeah, it's probably going to be after the membership side of things gets rolled out, just because a lot of the features that we're building out with websites and memberships are all getting tied in, so it's one big unified platform. And then we're going to roll in the split testing, because we have to make sure that the split testing can be toggled on, but we need to have it toggled off for memberships. And like, there's so much, like, from a bigger picture for us to implement that can break something else. And so we just decided from a roadmap perspective to push it out just a little bit. Now, you can do, for any of those that really want to do split testing, you can use Google Optimize. And as you guys probably have seen, when we released our new website a couple of weeks ago, it was kind of switching between the old site and new site. And we actually did that using Google Optimize. And so Google actually has their own split testing capabilities there. So if that's a dire need, you can do it today.
Cool.
Robin, can you
Also,
talk to us about what's going to roll out next over the next few weeks?
You'll see a lot of smaller enhancements. We've, pushing a lot of stuff through QA. From a big feature perspective, nothing that I can
Bulk
think of.
actions off smart lists are coming soon, right? The new bulk actions?
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen this week or next week. I mean, it's almost done. It's going through QA, and there's a couple of things that they're working through on that front. Um, so our focus for the month of April is working quite a bit on just small little enhancements and stuff, and really just patching a lot of areas that we have. We brought in a new product manager, who's kind of helping us revise a couple of our, feature sets, and we're trying to come up with a cleaner way in how we productize things, so that you'll see a lot more enhancements and cleanup throughout the month of April.
Also, Eric, you had asked a question about selling as a CRM on Mondays. For those of you that have been on the Monday calls, we go deep into sales and business development, how to package up different services, including CRM, rush packs. For any of you that's been here on Monday, I see some of those familiar faces. You can talk to them about those sessions. They're very helpful. They'll be on YouTube as well, Eric. And Eric also asked if we can replace Shopify next week. We'll work on it. Next question is there
It
a
was
funnel?
actually, I did have the idea of putting out a post like that today for April Fools, but I figure
Oh my gosh, you would have
with all
gotten
the
murdered.
with all the stuff going on today, or just the
We
past
should
month, I
have.
figure it's not,
We should have done an April Fool's
don't want to
thing.
tease the community too much.
Hey, is there a funnel mapping tool coming similar to like Lucid Chart or Funnelytics?
One of the things that we want to roll out after the memberships, we're going to continue focusing on the websites and then tying all of it together with triggers and actions. Last year we were about 60 to 70% done. Snellhouse was working on a kind of like an Infusionsoft or Active Campaign. You can like drag things around
Who?
and kind of map out Snellhouse,
Kidding.
one of the developers.
I'm kidding.
And then we started adding in a couple more products and features that required a lot more intricacy as how you tie things in. And so we'll probably get them back on it, probably month of May, once we clear up some of these other product backlogs that we have.
Nice. Another question came in on Facebook about the new robust reporting stuff. Where does that fall on the roadmap? Is that Q3, Q4?
No, I mean, it's all currently in development. You'll start seeing some of that get rolled out towards the end of April.
Nice. Okay, great. That seems to be
Is
the number one
the
question that we've
is the
gotten today.
$97 membership going away?
We're as you guys know, we rolled out the new website. We split tested it, and we're just going to constantly split test a couple things to figure out what works best for us. We're trying to figure out what we can do to bring in the best sort of agencies, the right sort of customers and stuff. So you guys will start seeing different product offerings along the way where, you know, we might get rid of the $97 option, add in a setup fee, add in, you know, just different variations. Where we also, if you guys don't know, we added in a new product, which is $300 on top of the $297 agency account, where you get a dedicated account manager. And so we'll be putting that on the website. So it's basically $597 a month. And you know, basically for any of those people that just want to have that, you know, bat line to someone at HighLevel, you know, when there's a problem, you can get in touch with them. Right now, as you guys know, Sean is pretty, he's getting booked up. I'm getting booked up. Varun, you know, he's never accessible. I mean, even internally, because everyone is just trying to hound him. So I think, you know, we're scaling up our consulting team. We've ramped up. We've doubled our support team. We've continued hiring more developers, and we're growing just to keep up with the team. And we want to make sure that we're providing you the best that we can. And for those that need that true hands-on support and access, you know, maybe you have a lot of different customers, a lot of different needs, a lot of customization, or, you know, you just want to make sure you're providing a great deliverable. We offer that premium service as well. And so I highly recommend that for any of you agency owners who just want that additional touch.
Rob, is that different than the agency Jumpstart, or is this another middle tier package? Can you kind of elaborate on that real quick?
Yeah,
Is
so
that
it's
per customer or is it per agency account?
no, it's per agency. So it's total $597. You know, we want to make it as reasonable, you know, for every agency there. The agency jumpstart package, for those of you that don't know that, it's $1,000, and what that does is you get in touch with our consulting team, which is Abby, and we bring in some of the support team members. And what they do is they look at what you're trying to build out, and they will actually help you map it out, create a blueprint, and they will actually execute and build it out for you and help you build out a system so that it can be scalable. So if you're, you know,
Nice.
working really heavy in the real estate space and you're planning on, like, you know what, when we turn this on, we need to be able to scale up to be able to take 100 customers at once. Well, not only do you need to build that blueprint, you know, and build it out for one customer, the next question is, well, how do you execute fast to bring on 200 agents at the same time? So they can actually sit down from our team and help you with that. It was just something that's been requested quite a bit of, like, you know, can we in-house be able to help with that? And then, you know, we can also bring in developers like Renato, who's on the line, things like that, who can help and assist whenever we're running into, you know, crazy customization scenarios where it might be a bug or just an edge use case that we have to build around.
Since you brought that up, I know now that we can not use you guys, but hire you guys to do our website build outs and our funnel build outs and all that. The last time I looked at the page, the marketplace page, as far as the funnel build outs, it wasn't real specific about what's included, like would the campaigns and the triggers and all that be included with, or is it just the design?
It's just the design. It's just the funnel component behind it. Now, what you're asking for is almost like a full account snapshot, you know, based on that. And that's something that we might build over time. I think part of it is if we give that out, we also want to be in control of the advertising and the traffic coming into it. So, you know, just kind of figure out how do we productize it, because that's what our rush packs really include. Right.
Yeah, and
so
the
you
hard
get
part with my group is they're not at the point of running ads yet. They're small entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and I'm trying to get them ready to start running ads.
For sure.
You know what a funnel is and all that kind of stuff. And so it's okay. I mean, I can still do that end of it. It's the creative end that I have no skills.
Yeah, and with a lot of our offerings, you know, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but we are doing a lot of, here's how to do it yourself. We can do it with you with a lot of stuff, and then do it for you. And so, like, you'll notice, like with the websites, we're rolling out templates. We're trying to, this week, probably shouldn't say it, but Sean will do an announcement. Sean will roll out with an announcement this week, you know, that we've released 3 new templates in the marketplace, completely free. But you guys have seen that disclaimer, right? Like, don't reach out to us for support. And the idea there is, you know, if you want to do it yourself, here's the opportunity. And we're planning on rolling out close to 100 templates by the end of the year. We're have 2 full-time, and the goal is, can we ramp them up so that they're rolling out one new template a day? So you guys will start seeing a lot of them come in, and then we're going to back step a little bit, roll out funnels. So you'll start seeing a ton of funnel designs coming in. And so we'll have a huge library. And so now there's really no excuse, right? So you can do it yourself. If you want to have that customized touch, our services team can help build that out. And then that's just kind of the do it with you model is, if you wanted to sell it yourself, kind of that middleware marketplace, you see a lot of people offering that. So we're trying to cater to every type of agency, every appetite from a budget perspective, as well as, supporting, being able to provide you the best option out there. So yeah, that was my soapbox spiel on productizing at the HighLevel side.
The end. I'm just kidding.
What are the questions you guys have?
Yeah, we're
we
through
just
all
covered-
the comments, so feel free to jump off mute if you've got a question.
Yeah, those of you that are watching on Facebook and on the Facebook live stream, I put a link on there for Zoom. If you want to jump in on the actual Zoom call, feel free to come in so we can see your questions on the Zoom chat. Chase, what else we got coming out on releases and stuff like that?
On my side, I'm just working on this how to sell websites presentation. I don't know, the last one I did was cold outreach campaign presentation that went pretty well. So this will be pretty similar. That should be ready by the end of the week. We'll roll that out. You'll see it in the weekly roundup. So I think that will help people that want to sell websites that haven't done that in the past. And again, Paulson's team, those Monday calls are a good resource to hop on if you want to talk to somebody about sales in relation to specific products or the white label products that we sell. Those are going on every Monday again. If you weren't on the beginning of the call, we're going to have Monday, Wednesday, Friday calls now moving forward. So this call every Wednesday, and then Fridays we're going to do live build types of calls. We're going to do live spotlight sessions like we have this Friday, and we're going to mix in some other stuff too. So if there's any sort of live call type of theme that you'd like to see, let us know, because we're building out a more robust content calendar as far as doing these live slots. So if there's ever anything you'd like to see us do live, let us know, and we'll make that happen most likely in the Friday slot.
Yeah, we got a question here. Are more rush packs planned? Yeah, me and Robin, we put together a huge list of niches that we're getting from a lot of requests, but we need to, have more requests for certain products for us to launch out. So based on your demand, based on your requests, we can launch out those rush packs. Robin, do we have anything that's planned? That was Ryan Hurst.
Yeah, Ryan, what sort of rush packs are you looking for?
Well, just for planning in the future, I primarily work in the home services industry, so plumbers, electricians, cabinet makers, flooring kind of guys. So.
Yeah, we're actually going to be rolling out a service rush, right? Just to kind of be a ubiquitous product offering in there, and we'll be able to support that hopefully this week.
Yeah, and those
Is that fast enough for you?
Yeah, I just want to see what can I look forward to, but plan in the future, and then how would a conversation look, with that client about what I might be able to offer, what can I do, and then what would I consider even hiring out like you.
For sure. Yeah, so
on the rush packs,
we'll load that up this week for Service Rush, and so that you can take a look at it and we can have a call to go over it together.
Yeah, and for those of you that may not know what a rush pack is, they're pre-packaged, niche-focused, specific advertising lead gen packages that come with up to 3 campaigns, and we can manage up to 3 campaigns across whether it's Google, Facebook or Instagram or wherever you want us to run traffic, and it'll come with all pre-packaged full agency, the landing pages that go with each specific offer, and that's a great option for somebody that just want to have all-in-one type of an approach. And you have the traditional side where you can go a la carte, let me just get one Facebook campaign, right? There's both sides, but if you want to do an all-in-one approach of just taking care of all advertising all in one package, you can do that And there's already Solo Rush, Real Estate Rush, I believe Student Rush, Patient Rush, that's already available in the marketplace. And that should already be there. If you have any questions, just set up a time with me. I can go over and help you navigate through those decisions.
Cool. Sean asked if, I don't know if I missed this, when can we add plugins to websites? So the plugin spiel that I gave when we talked about this last time is that most plugins you'll find in various formats, right? So if you go to Code Canyon or whatever and you search up a plugin, it'll have the WordPress version of it. And then there's usually an HTML version of it. And the HTML version of it is the one that you can implement into HighLevel. And if you need help with that, is that something we do hourly? Do we have like, hey, can somebody just hourly dev help me add this plugin to a HighLevel site?
What I would recommend is reach out to us and we can take a look at it and see if we have the bandwidth to be able to assist with it. Who's asking that question?
Sean,
Sean
Ireland.
Ireland.
That was me.
Sean. Hey Sean, what sort of plugin are you looking for, or what is the functionality that's needed?
Well, actually, you have the SEO. Like, I use WordPress right now for everything.
Sure.
And basically, I'm just trying. Like, I literally have a list of plugins that we use consistently, but right now, off the top of my head, the ones that I would want to pull in, I'd have to go and see which ones are HTML compliant.
Well, yeah. I mean, what are those plugins that you're trying to bring in? What do they do?
What's actually here? I got a site open now. Well, the one would be the SEO side. Like, I know it's SEO friendly on right now for the websites. That's what you have right now, right?
So you're talking about like a Yoast, right?
A Yoast, like yes, correct.
Yeah. So all Yoast is doing at the end of the day, it's just they're just injecting the code and the meta tags and all that. So it's kind of an easier interface to handle the SEO side of things. But we'll eventually be building that in, so we can basically push up those updates, but you can manually do that. I mean, all it's doing is just like creating the meta tags, just the headers and just standardizing the titles and all that stuff. And you can manually do that on all the pages.
Okay. The other part is, like, right now I use Divi as my main.
The builder?
Yeah, correct. And like they have like, the carousel. And then also too, for my real estate agents, I'm using IMpress listings.
So with the carousel, so we will be dropping a slider carousel component as an element. So you'll see that on all the websites, the funnels, and all that. You'll see that in the coming weeks. What was the other thing?
It's called IMpress. It's IMpress listings. It's for real estate agents. It literally pulls in all the data, like square footage, everything like that.
You guys, while Robin's pulling that up, feel free to ask questions on the chat. We'll be able to answer as much as we can. We got another 20 minutes to go, so feel free to ask your questions.
Sorry, what was the?
Okay, so like a real estate listing, right?
Oh,
so
real estate.
Literally,
yeah.
You'd click on the listing. It gives you a small thumbnail of the property, and then I'll have like basics. Then it actually, when you click on it, it gives you more in depth, like square footage, everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do it. I mean, the big thing is with the IDX, and I think someone actually posted in the Facebook group about how to implement IDX on the page. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you might want to check the Facebook group out and see what people are doing on that front.
I will, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a quick question. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Who is that? Chris Pistorius. How's it going?
Yeah. Hey, man. How you been?
Just like everybody else, just trying to figure out what to do.
I hear you. So, I think you may know this, but I'm in the dental niche, and we've been testing HighLevel for, it seems like, years. But since we've slowed down a little bit, certainly in the dental niche, up to this point, we've been kind of controlling the back end of HighLevel for our test clients. So we've built the pipelines, we listen to the calls ourselves, and we kind of move them along as much as we can in the pipeline ourselves. With that, we haven't really done anything to like give this to our dental practices for them to manage. Is that unheard of with this system? Are there other people out there managing this for their clients? or is this really built to hand off to a client 100%?
I mean, we have agencies who do it more as a, you know, from a consulting perspective, kind of managing the CRM, and you kind of being that administrator for them.
Right.
It just depends on what your offering is. I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. We
Okay.
have agencies who buy a second instance because they have such a large client. Maybe they're working with a franchise network or something like that, and they're still the agency that the client is working, but they want it to be completely branded and white labeled for that. It's kind of like I'm providing a turnkey solution for a network of dentists or something like that.
Right.
And so you give them their own instance, but it's still controlled through your agency. And you know, you're kind of customizing it, working with guys like, you know, Fair Patel or Tom Bristol and doing custom coding
Mhm.
and all that. So it just depends on kind of how you're positioning it, how you're pitching it, and how you're offering it to your clients. But the answer is yes,
Okay.
you can do that.
Yeah, the problems we're having is, you know, I see this tool as being, you know, something incredibly awesome where we can pull in all of the leads that we currently have for the client into one place, right? And at the end of the month, we can say, look, you know, you had this many new leads worth this much money. Here you can listen to the calls. Here's how they move through the pipeline. Here's a list of people, for instance, that, you know, replied to the sequence, but you didn't schedule for whatever reason. So I see it like that. But the problem we have right now is that on our test clients anyway, we'll do a sequence, and sometimes, you know, perhaps the client will somehow communicate with that potential patient outside of the HighLevel communication, and we lose track of them, and sometimes we're duplicating efforts. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, I think that
Sure.
comes back to a lot more training and the
Yeah.
clients, you know, you might be selling it to, in your case, like the dentist, but you haven't sold the receptionist or kind of the internal team on the value of keeping it all in one place.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to have to get to, and to the point where I want to see this is where we kind of take over the follow-up for them and take a huge burden off their front desk, so that, you know, they don't even really need to worry about follow-up on these new patients, at least the ones that are coming in from our campaigns, you know. So I think you're right in terms of we have to just say, look, we'll handle the follow-up for these, and if we need help, we'll let you know. Do you think that's a good way to think of this if we want to control it, or no?
No, that's a good way. There's a lot of agencies that are basically taking over everything and basically becoming an appointment setting company. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, generating leads is turning into a commodity, right? Like
Yeah.
even right now, Facebook wants business owners to spend more money on there, and they're giving away free money so they can get more advertising in the long run. And they're going to
Right.
continue making it better, right, with their algorithm and stuff like that. So you could just literally boost your post, leads will come in. That's going to be the easy, and that's easy in itself. I'm not saying it's 100% easy, but they're making it easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, it's going to come down to, okay, with all these leads, what are we doing with them, and are we actually making money on it? And that's
Right.
the challenging part. And so one thing that you can control as an agency is creating that appointment setting team. Sometimes it's going beyond that and doing, you know, the initial sales or kind of the discovery calls and stuff like that. How close can you edge up? Because if you can edge up all the way to the sales process, you'll be able to charge a higher price for your services.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I appreciate your feedback. And the last thing I'll say is that I think it's a huge opportunity because, especially in dental, because most of the front desk people they hire, they do not train as salespeople. And there's a lot of great opportunities that come in that they just don't take advantage of. So I think you've got something here that, you know, as you know, probably sky's the limit. So anyway, thanks for your help.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing to think about is that there is a difference between our front desk receptionist, a salesperson,
Mm-hmm.
who knows the product and services, which is like the dentist themselves or the you know, the hygienist or whatever, because they just know what they're offering, and then an appointment setter. Like those are
Right.
completely different skill sets.
Yep.
And
Totally
sometimes
agree.
people expect that to be something. Sometimes people expect all of that to be blended, and it's just, oh yeah, just pick up the
Right.
phone and call back, right? Like people feel
Right.
uncomfortable doing that, and you have to find people who set them up for
Yep.
success. So put them in the right place, and that's how you're going to succeed.
Yeah, you got it, man. Thanks again, Robin.
No problem.
Yep.
Cool. What other questions are out there?
Another one about membership sites. They're rolling out in May.
Yeah, so we have 3 full-time developers working on that product right now, and they're heavily working on it. It's pretty slick. We've seen some demos on it, and it's coming along pretty well. Uh, uh, I'm actually getting a call right now on the other line. But yeah, I expect that you'll start seeing more screenshots and everything in the beginning of May. And sorry, I have
Cool.
to switch off, guys. I'll be right back.
All right. We'll follow up with that login question when Robin gets back. And it's going to be very similar to Kajabi. I think Kajabi is the one that we're modeling it off of. So you can expect it to be pretty
Alright.
similar. And oh, Robin, so the follow-up question was, do you know, will it automatically send login information to people?
For the membership?
I've seen this a lot in regard to membership sites, the login process. What does that look like?
Yeah, we'll we haven't made it that far in the development of it, because that's kind of the last components to it as far as creating triggers and stuff like that. So I'm sure we'll include that as a part of the feature set.
Is it going to be similar
right.
to Kajabi or Teachable?
It's going to be very similar to Kajabi.
Neil, hey guys, I find myself struggling at times with implementing features. I have been using the help section for videos, but trying to add a new features takes a long learning curve. Is there a way for someone new to vet some questions with a bit more seasoned user of HighLevel?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that we always recommend is jumping onto the onboarding calls, to do a refresher on the product itself. As far as new features and offerings, a lot of the new features and offerings are driven from agencies who kind of worked their way through the platform to a certain extent. They've already created their blueprint and they're missing kind of the last tail end of making their product, more efficient for them and for their delivery. And so I continue to go back to, as a younger agency, you really want to make sure that you have a strong foundation and figure out where the gaps are. And if you're a younger agency, know that other agencies have already been there and we've already developed those additional features and enhancements. So when you find that gap, it's just a matter of reaching out to us and our team to say, hey, I'm running into this problem. Not a technical problem per se, it's more of a process problem. How can we help close that gap? And that's where we can help tell you, like, okay, we'll use this feature, use this trigger this way, or, I think you guys were talking about like doing a waterfall campaign or something like that. We can help build that out and or at least teach you how to build it out. And then that also pairs into where the agency jumpstart package comes in, right? Like if you find something that's a lot more advanced, a lot more aggressive, you can get that agency jumpstart package, or talk to our consulting team and they could be that resource to walk you through those scenarios as well.
And even this call is a good time if you have a specific feature that you're struggling with or something. Feel free to hop on the Wednesday call and hop off mute and we can talk about it. Good question. When are the onboarding calls? How does somebody get signed up for one of those?
Yeah, so we do those onboarding calls daily. You can go to gohighlevel.com/onboarding and you can see a calendar there, pick a time and jump on. We are doing, I think, part of the content calendar for this month. One of the big things that I've asked Chase and Paulson to work on this month is really build more engagement with the community. We know that a lot of agencies are struggling out there, reshifting their business model and stuff. And so we want to continue being a resource for you guys. And so bringing up more content, just more videos, more things that we can help you as an agency. And one of them that we want to do is kind of I don't know if the name is finalized or whatever, but call it the re-onboarding, and just kind of do a revisit on the platform and kind of work through, what our new onboarding flow looks like. And so you as an existing customer, an existing agency using HighLevel can still be a part of that as well. So I think that's going to be on the schedule.
Yeah, also guys, remember, especially those of you that are new, we have the Facebook group and we also have live communication on the Slack channel. Make sure you jump in the Slack channel too. There's a lot of different questions on the HighLevelers channel where you go through technical issues, and there's a lot of information there that you can review, just FYI.
Is the onboarding a one-on-one call or is it a group call? They're group calls.
Yeah, so currently they're group calls, and I was mentioning that we are, restructuring kind of our onboarding flow as far as ordering on the page. We're doing split testing and stuff, and one of the things that we will be testing is doing a paid setup, slash onboarding, and so we will be offering one-on-one onboardings, just to test out, see if it's something that we can pull off, and we see better success with the agencies that jump into that model.
When can I have folders within my folders? Inception.
Yeah, I mean, we are working on some other aspects with the folders, as far as rolling it out through snapshots and making sure that you can actually push it out between accounts and things like that. I don't know. I don't have an answer on that. It's actually the first time that I've seen that request. Let me run it back to the team and see,
Yeah, that
if we
was
can do that, and to how many levels, would that make sense for
yeah. I
doing
mean,
that.
it's just that's how we kind of roll with when we're doing organization, where we have a folder within a folder, like subfolders,
For sure,
So,
but
helpful.
the technicalities behind it.
Oh, I know, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just have to kind of think about it with the team and run it by Varun, because Varun's the one that figures out all the edge cases and QAs everything. So it's gonna always come down to him.
No, yeah, I get that. I've been using it since, like, I've been wanting that for a while, and I was so happy when it was announced. And there's some, bugs here and there that, I should probably send in. But it would, I didn't know if you could, make a snapshot and include those. So you cannot do that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so we wanted to get it out as fast as possible. So we rolled it out without the ability to do the snapshots, but that should be
Uh-huh.
coming out fairly quickly.
Okay, so if I did a snapshot with, some triggers in a folder right now, they would still exist. They just wouldn't be in a folder.
Exactly.
Okay, that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, thanks for that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot of great feedback from the folders.
Okay.
Robin, next question is any change of getting audio uploads into the call handling for greeting, record, and whisper?
Yes, we are actually working through some of that right now. I think next month we're actually bringing on someone to work solely on kind of the call feature set, which means that we are inching closer and closer to kind of building out an IVR and stuff like that. So don't be surprised, going into Q3, Q4, you start seeing a lot of those functionalities on the call side.
Chris, does anyone know what the daily send limit is with Mailgun out of HighLevel? I'm doing a lot of cold email marketing lately, and I just don't want to get blocked from sending.
With Mailgun, I don't think there's necessarily a limit. I think it's more of best practices, right? If you're sending out 200,000 emails at once, there is a limit of 15 messages per minute that HighLevel has, just more from a throttling perspective. But let's say if you just had it running 24/7, Mailgun isn't necessarily going to restrict you or stop you. They're just going to basically look at it, and if you're getting, rejections or people unsubscribing and things like that, that's when they'll flag your account and probably have a conversation with you.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, remind me to send you something on that. There are ways to get aged Google accounts that you can use, so you're not really using your primary domain for cold email marketing. So there's a couple of different options to do that. I don't recommend you using your primary.
Good point. And so the cold email presentation that I mentioned, if you search it in help.gohighlevel.com, I actually added a new section called warming it up, and it walks you through how to warm up a domain. And that's info that I got from Alex, I think his name's Berman. He's a cold email specialist, and he's actually gave us the verbal commitment to do a spotlight session. So hopefully in the near future, we'll have him on the show talking about cold outreach. But his sort of how to warm up a domain, I put into that help doc. But yeah, I would say from what I've seen in the community of people who do a lot of cold outreach is 80 would be like the max that you'd want to send in a day. And if you're using Google or G Suite as your SMTP provider, they're going to cap you somewhere around what is it, 200 or 500? But I think best practice, I would say to be safe, I would keep it below 80.
Yeah, I think for G Suite, it's like 50 per email alias or something like that. So you can have up to like 10. But also you don't have to warm up domains. You can buy pre-warmed domains as well. People do that so they don't have to wait on warming them up. But if that's not an option, then yeah, you should warm it up.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys haven't seen that cold emailing thing, Chase mentioned it. Go to help.gohighlevel.com and check out the cold emailing video series. I think it's also on YouTube as well, so you can check it out there. It's a really good video for all those agencies that's running through cold emailing right now.
So I guess I'll stop emailing today. I sent out about 500 today already, but I'm sending them at 50 email increments every 30 minutes to an hour. And good thing about what's on lately, I'm getting a lot of responses back because people are just sitting around not doing
it. And if you're getting good engagement and things like that, that's a good sign that you're not going to get flagged. Now, if it's getting a bunch of unsubscribes, failed email addresses because they're bad addresses, like if you just hit all those indicators that you're spamming people, it's not going to play well for you.
Yeah, I would be daily checking in on your Mailgun dashboard to just make sure that your bounce rates aren't jumping up or your spam rates not jumping up. Keep a close eye on that.
What would be an acceptable bounce rate?
It's a percentage.
Would it be like 10% or?
No, I think it's like 1%.
Yeah, pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Less than 1% is kind of acceptable.
Yeah. Hey, Paulson, can you drop in the chat? Someone's asking where you buy pre-warm domains.
There's so many different providers where you can buy them. You'd have to look that up. I don't have a personally like one or another. I know there's like hundreds of providers. I don't have it. Rob, do you know any places?
I recommend, so the big thing with email providers, I don't do the whole Gmail thing or really recommend that. But if you go to Mailgun or SendGrid or any of those, they basically offer pre-warmed IP addresses. And that serves a need, and it's kind of the more proper way, the white hat way of kind of following through emailing.
Charlie on Facebook is asking, using the SMS lead notification trigger, how can we also send our clients a text message for new leads with the notes from a new lead contact? Our clients don't really have the time to log into the CRM sub account and would prefer the leads directly to our text message in real time.
Yeah, so you can actually do contact.notes, I believe, is the merge name.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, can't you do that right now? So yeah, grab a merge tag and then change it to contact.notes, or you should see it in the dropdown, and you should be able to push the note content out in the notification.
Yeah.
Brandon Anderson on Facebook said, Chris, I have a good SOP for warming up emails if you want it. So yeah, Brandon Anderson, if anybody wants to connect with him on Facebook, he just threw that out there. Thanks, Brandon. All right, Anil, Scott, thanks for joining. Hope you can make it next week. Anil, please forgive me if this is not the right place for this question, but I can use some help on this. I have a lead ad on Facebook. When I add a new lead through developers.facebook.com/tools/lead ads testing, that seems to hit the trigger creating new contact. But this trigger doesn't seem to fire when test using the actual ad on Facebook.
Yeah, Anil, what I would recommend, just because I think we're about to wrap this call up, is you can go to gohighlevel.com/support. You can actually book a time with one of our support reps, and they can help troubleshoot that immediately with you. What you want to do is, one, if you're seeing that it's testing in there, we should see it pump in through HighLevel, and then we could test it out just with some other various ways to make sure that the trigger is functioning for you.
When do you suggest getting more than one Mailgun account versus just use one for different clients? So now, again, that's cold email. So you might, or in general, I mean, some people make a subdomain for each client that they have to keep them separate. It's really up to you at the end of the day. I mean, for me, if I can use one for all my clients and my numbers, my stats look good, then I'm happy to do that. But you could certainly create as many subdomains in your Mailgun account and assign them to specific clients if you want.
Yeah, what I recommend is actually creating a different, not necessarily a different account, but within one Mailgun account, you can create different domains and maybe have a different domain for a use case, right? Like if you're using one for cold emailing, use a different domain and IP address for that. If you're using one more from bulk sending for all of your customers, set up another domain for that. That way, if one of them does get burned or flagged, you're not affecting everything that's going on. Now, the caveat there is if you're doing cold emailing and it's malicious spamming, Mailgun can get mad and basically shut down your account altogether, and you can run into problems on that front. But as long as what we recommend is being on the up and up and doing it the proper way, I would just kind of split it up more from a use case perspective.
Cool. All right. So we have hit the hour. So we're going to sign off here. But again, this same time on Friday, we're going to have a live spotlight session. So we hope that you guys can join us then. The guest is going to be talking about prospecting. So that's a hot topic, especially in times like these. So it's going to be a great call. Hopefully you can join us then. The other thing I wanted to ask you was if you are enjoying these calls and HighLevel altogether, we would love your video testimonial. And I just dropped the link in the live chat for that. It's super simple. You click the link, you hit record, tell us what you think, and that comes straight to us. So we'd really appreciate your video testimonials. And like we talked about, look out for more of these types of live calls from us going into April. If you have an idea for something you'd love to see on a live call, let us know, and we'll try to make it happen.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody,
Bye.
for joining.
Have a great rest of the day.
See you,
Bye,
see you later.
everyone.